let me say, when we adopted the Universal Declaration in 1948, 60 years ago, it was an extraordinary moment of world history. We had just finished this terrible war, which caused more destruction than any other war of history. And we thought, now we are going to put the basic values on which the world is going to live. We put them in a text. Has to be a good text, short but strong. And it was short and strong. And the values in that text are still absolutely valid today. There is not a word to change. Freedom, human rights, equality of men and women, right to health, right to education, it's all in there. But 60 years later, we must recognize that there are still many countries who do not implement these human rights. It is true that in 1948 we said this declaration is a common ideal to be achieved by all nations and all people. It is not there yet, but it has to be achieved by measures of national and international. We knew it was something to aspire to, but still we hoped that 60 years later, most countries would have implemented human rights. And we must say that during these past 8 years, under the American administration of George W. Bush, there was a going back, a regression. Human rights have been violated by the United States, the largest, most powerful country of the world, and by another country, the one that was created in 1948, the country of Israel. And when year after year we saw that the Israelis did not respect the international law, that they violated the international law, that they put settlements all over the West Bank and Gaza, and that they behaved in a very brutal way towards their neighbors and partners, the Palestinians. It made us ever more unhappy. After 1968, after the war between Israel and the Palestinians, and the Arab countries, we thought now at last there will come a moment when peace will be achieved by the international community. The Security Council adopted resolutions 242, 338, and it said 2 countries. And I still believe today that there is no other solution to the problem. If Israel wants security, and if the Palestinians are entitled to their own country, the international pressure must be strong enough to convince the Israeli government that it cannot go on violating international law as it has done. During these 60 years, the Israeli propaganda was very strong. They would say, we have this small country surrounded by millions, billions of Arabs. The Arabs here do not need this little country. They can leave this country to us. It belongs to us. It has been given to us by our God, Jehovah. And therefore, why should not the Arabs go to other countries, to Syria or to Jordan or to wherever, where there are other Arabs? And that they made such good propaganda that people who had said, no, 2 countries are needed, were shy. They remembered the Shoah, terrible, and they said, we cannot be strong on Israel. Israel has a right to its security. So we did, the international community was shy and weak. And this weakness lasted even after the war in 1968, and after the war in 1973, and even after the first Intifada, and even after the second Intifada. And every time that the states and the United States would come and bring the Israelis and the Palestinians together, Bill Clinton brought together Rabin, Arafat, and Peres. And they said, oh, now we're going to make peace and have two countries. And then immediately afterwards, the Israelis would continue settlements, 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 and no peace. Is anything going to change? That is our question. We have very many here in Barcelona, in Paris, in Lyon, and in other places to manifest and to say Palestine must have their country. Do we have a better hope today? Perhaps. If we could have this new vision, it would be relatively easy to tell Israel, look, you need international support. You cannot live without American support. You will not get any longer American support unless you agree to a peaceful settlement for Palestine. Can we hope that President Barack Hussein Obama is going to be strong enough, and the European Union strong enough, to follow that path to peace, path to security for the Palestinians, and path to security for Israel?